I don't know what it's like inside, but just the outside of it, I see so much potential. It's just.
Good afternoon. My name is Joan Jennings. I'm the chair of the Public Art Committee. I'm calling the meeting to order on Wednesday, March 10th at 2 p.m. Marissa, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Jennings?
Here?
Ms. Gregory?
Here.
Mr. Meals?
Here.
Ms. Robinson?
Here.
Mr. Stackhouse?
Here.
Ms. Oberlander?
Here.
Mr. Sallow is out with an excused absence, and Ms. Carrie Rip-Calvis will be filling in for Diane Wood.
Right, and Robert Stackhouse, who's our alternate number one, will be voting in David Sallow's place, and we do have a quorum. Okay, Mark, do we have any virtual attendance today?
At this time, we do not have anyone attending virtually.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the February 10th meeting.
So move.
Any second? Any discussion, comments, corrections? Okay. Minutes will be accepted as submitted. Because Mr. Stackhouse has to leave us, I'm going to make some changes in the order of the agenda. That may require a vote. Item 3, new business, topic A, discussion to determine if stanchions are necessary for the mural at the Cultural Center, and if so, the PAC's recommendation to the city manager. Lucienne, do you have any thoughts on stanchions?
I do not like stanchions. I spent many years managing historic buildings, and I just think they're very off-putting to the public.
Bill?
I don't have a feeling one way or the other.
Okay.
Okay, I'm neutral on it.
I don't care for them either.
Okay, Robert?
I don't see them necessary.
Right. Michaela?
I don't think they're necessary in this instance.
Okay. I think that's the general consensus of the Public Art Committee, so I think we will make a recommendation to the city manager not to consider the stanchions. Okay. The second item of business I'm going to move up is old business, the Black Heritage Project. In your packet, there's a call to artists, and I was also given a copy of the Black America Series Tarpon Springs book, which I would like everyone to take a look at, because it contains a lot of, especially in the beginning, a lot of information and images of the early Black spongers in Tarpon Springs. The call to artists is in your packet, and it does contain some photographs that are either from the book, they're out of the public, they're out of copyright, they're in the public domain. If you have a chance to look at it, I would like to set up a committee, much like Lucienne did with her Innis project, to kind of shepherd this along. I spoke to Dudley Sally, who's a lifelong Tarponite and currently president of the Tarpon Springs Historical Society, and he would be interested in serving, as would Annie Dabbs, who is the president of the Historically Black Rose Cemetery. And if it's agreeable to everybody, I would like to kind of ride herd on this. But Lucienne, do you have any thoughts?
I think a committee is a great idea. I think Dudley and Ms. Dabbs are excellent. I had an observation about the call to artists. The lack of a specific location, I thought, made a call premature. My opinion only. I also would like to put 2 cents worth in for an art-centric jury when it comes to evaluating proposals.
Right, we need, you already nabbed Lynn Whitlaw, but I was wondering if he'd be willing to serve on another one, or I thought of possibly Teresa Wilkins, who's the director of the Lipa Ratner Museum. And when we get to Robert too, maybe he can have some suggestions, but I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And I, as a partner, thought to that. I think with a really strong jury, the jury can select one artist and present that to the Board of Commissioners for approval. I think, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. This was up for discussion today. That's why this hasn't gone out yet. I think, because it deals with the spongers, kind of the original thought was down at the sponge docks, but I think we've discussed in the past that there's an awful lot on the sponge docks. And I know that there has been discussion, especially from you, Lucienne, about diversifying the locations of the art and possibly do something in the Union Academy geographic area that would work. So that's why the location was open-ended, again, for, discussion. So do you have any feelings about the?
Topics that your committee will be firming up before the call goes out?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
okay. Bill?
I completely agree. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Trish?
fine.
My
Robert?
question about the call, and I question the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And for something this, in a way, important, and we're going to go to these extra steps in order to select somebody and then use a kind of curatorial decision on it and then present it to the city council. I think $50,000 for something is not going to get much.
Agreed.
And it's, it's possible we could buy the concrete stand for it. And at least what the budget was for the naiads, at least that. And I know that you're saying that you could get outside help, and I know the University of South Florida in Tampa, they used to do this. They don't do public art that much anymore, but on campus, but they would get top flight artists by having a smaller budget, but then they would get an outside donor to double that budget.
Right.
And then what they would do is that would get the attention of the more accomplished people that you probably want for this.
Right.
And in the $50,000 budget is somebody's going to make it in their garage.
No, I agree with you. That's why I'm saying this is purely a draft. And, I was thinking along those lines too, given, if we, you get what you pay for. If we want a quality piece, which I think this project and this community deserves, that it's going to easily have to be six figures.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if there are ways in which we could focus on this project fiscally. Somehow or another, what are our resources, our monetary resources? And what is the possibility of transferring some of those to this and waylaying some of the others, so that we don't have somebody proposing a bunch of art around here that is not going to help this project. And is this, I don't know, to me, it seems like it could be a real premier statement project for Tarpon Springs. And there are people who are really good at doing these things and very creative about it. They're not just going to make a statue.
Right.
And in order to attract them, you look on CODA or you look on other sites for public art projects, and they immediately put the price up front. You're going through this thing and you're an artist of some reputation for doing this, and you see one for $50,000, you just go right past it.
Right.
Because you don't make any money out of that. I mean, they'll make $5,000 from
Right.
doing that, and it's a lot of trouble to do it.
Well, I don't want to put Carrie on the spot because I know she's filling in for Diane today. But Marissa, I believe we have at least 200,000 in our budget. Is that,
I believe what is approved for use in this fiscal year is more like 135,000.
Okay.
A project of this size would have to go before the Board of Commissioners to get
Right.
approval for using additional funds. I can get you more on the exact figures for next month, so we can talk about how much a project of this size would take out of
Okay.
what we have in our budget.
okay. Yeah, because, I seem to think that, all told, but again, some of it is budgeted against, like we have maintenance and, other concerns.
Yeah.
But, so right now we've got 135, give or take, plus, trying to solicit, funds from other sources. So, but I guess since, Mikhail, I'm sorry, you're kind of hidden. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I like the fact that it's open-ended, and I thought it was very cool that you guys have retitled it just from the Sponger to a Black Heritage Project, because it does make it more open, even though in the background you definitely explain that. I don't know enough about how much pricing, I mean, what you're talking about, if you up it to a six-figure kind of thing, it sounds to me like you're looking for a sculpture, possibly a bronze piece or something like that. But in this call, it could be almost anything, right? I mean, unless I misunderstood it. So I think the subcommittee will be really helpful in trying to narrow down what location would be best for this, so people can see it, but we're not all putting all our eggs in the Sponge Docs basket. And I think it would be great to have something innovative. So while a bronze sculpture might be good, but I would love to see something else as well. And I thought I saw somewhere in the materials that Diane sent to us that somebody is looking into finding out what the African-American community in our area is actually would like. Is anybody doing that?
Well, I've been doing it.
Okay, do you need any
I've been
help with
talking,
that?
and, as I said, I would highly recommend, and I know this is in the library, right, Cal?
Yes, yes, we have
I'm sure
several
there's
copies.
several copies, but it's an Arcadia series, and they do various books. They do Images of America, they do historic postcards. This one is the Black America series in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and it was written by Sandra Rooks and Carol Mountain, and I've met Carol on occasion, and I know that she was in the Historical Society, but I think you can get a lot of ideas and imagery from this. This, I think, is a very compact, way to start. And it's come up in past PAC meetings. I have been in touch with Shannon, Peck Bartles, who's doing a research project for her degree at USF on Black cemeteries. So, and I know that there's some very interesting facts to be obtained from Rose Cemetery, including, some spongers who are interred there. So I've been accumulating, a lot of data, and I think one of the things, it would obviously, if anyone's interested, it would obviously go to any interested artist. And if you look at the call on the back, there are some, some images of some of the historic photographs, some of which are from the book, some of which I obtained from other sources. The one that's the second one down on the right, unfortunately, the only thing I could find on that, which I think is probably one of the more intriguing images, was very, very small, so the quality's kind of pixelated. But, I guess what I'd like to do, though, is perhaps entertain a motion and take a vote on just pursuing this project. I really just want to formalize that everybody's kind of supporting it. So do I hear a motion to? Okay, Trish, second? Bill? All in favor, I guess by show of hands? Okay, it's unanimous, so we'll continue to pursue this. And Marissa, I guess at some point, we'll take a look at the budget and see
Yes, I'll
what we
bring
have
back
to
those
work with.
numbers next month so we can see exactly what we're talking about.
Right, right. So otherwise it'll look like my budget at home.
Is there any assistance that we could help with, anything we can help with from now till the next meeting to keep it moving?
Well-
Sometimes things seem to lag because we just don't,
I-
any assignments that you have for this?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone would like to continue to do some research on, on the local stories like this, but I think what would be really great if, especially Bill, if you'd like to, explore some funding sources, and find out that, corporate, private donors, I'm sure that there's a lot out there, and every little bit helps. And I'm sure you're experienced enough in business to know how to balance, acknowledgements and, things of that sort, there's a quid pro quo for whatever, monies we get from people or organizations. And if anyone has also any ideas about anybody who'd be willing to participate, in the subcommittee on, in any capacity, I'd really appreciate that too. So, okay, I think we'll continue to work on that. Going back to old business, the David Danforth mural proposal, it's deferred. Diane informed me yesterday that she was expecting materials from him that never arrived. So we'll postpone that to the April meeting. Also in your packet is a proposal for the Sisler Field baseball mural from artist Monica Swartley in Tampa. I don't know if you've had a chance, to look at it.
Yeah. I did not care for it.
Well, sorry, Lucienne, you want to start? What are your feelings on this?
I liked the design. I thought it read easily and wasn't something that would distract.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the scuffed up quality of the balls. With nothing else to compare it to, I thought it was a good proposal.
Right. Bill?
Thought it was appropriate for the location. I
Mhm.
thought it fit. Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Yeah. Trish?
I didn't really care for it that much, so
Mhm.
just my.
Robert?
I like the idea that it's actually painted. Instead of this, the whole thing of
Right.
the decals is good,
Yeah.
and the cost is very reasonable, and I think it's appropriate.
Right. And you'll notice the artist fee is within that parameter that, she'll be covered under the, as a limited subcontractor under the city's liability insurance. Michaela?
I really like this one, and in the past, we had talked about that there are other locations, and I was thinking, wow, you could do that with baseballs and baseball bats, and and basically expand that idea if this turns out well. We had always talked about doing one first and seeing how it goes, but the idea is very attractive, and if it looks anywhere near as good as it does in the proposal, we'll be getting a good deal for that price.
Right. Yeah, I think it's appropriate too for the location. I mean, it is a Little League baseball field, so we're not looking for the Sistine Chapel here. So can I entertain a motion to move forward with the mural proposal as submitted? Lucianne, second. Bill? All in favor? Anyone against? One? Okay. All right, so it passes. Okay. Now, the current project updates, the illuminated art boxes. I think we're ready for a second round of images, and I think next month we'll put out a call, and Diane and I discussed pretty much of a timetable once the call goes out for, submission, for, receiving the images and for the Public Art Committee to, jury them, much like we did last time. So they'd be replaced around October, which is when the original ones went up. Is everyone okay with that
Yes,
timetable?
plenty of time. Oh,
Right, I
goodness,
think
yeah.
that'll give time for people to, prepare things and submit them, and for us to go over them, and for the printer to print them. Now that everything's kind of in place, all he has to do really is print the decals, and then remove the decals from the vinyl panels and just replace them. So it'll be not only pretty easy, but pretty economical. So that's always a plus.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
What becomes of the ones that you take out?
I'm not sure what happens to the decals once they're peeled off.
Are they salvageable when they do that?
You
or
talk
are
about the
they-
pic- you talk
I
about the
believe so.
pictures
I
and
think
stuff?
right. I think if the artist wants to salvage it, maybe the artist could give us a piece of vinyl to just re-adhere it.
I think that would be a good thing, because, some people, this is the first time they've ever had anything in public, and it would be nice if we would offer them first refusal for it anyway. So
Right.
maybe not everybody's gonna take it up, but, there's some people that might cherish that.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how salvageable they are, though. I don't know.
Right. Again, I'm all thumbs anyway, and I know whenever I've tried to peel stuff off, I've just destroyed it, but I'm sure the person that put them on, I'm sure would be much better at this than I would. Oh, Mikhail, I thought I
Oh,
saw
I
him.
had a quick question. When we're doing the next called artists for the art boxes next month, what theme are we using? Because I remember months ago I had submitted ideas for themes, and I'm not sure I ever got an update as to what the next theme for the next called artists would be.
Oh, can I get some thoughts from the committee? Lucianne, do you have any? I just thought it was, what was up, nature themes would be okay. Bill, do you have any?
I hadn't really thought about it yet, but it's probably worth some conversation to.
Right.
Yeah, I like the Tarpon Springs or the Florida themes.
Mm-hmm. Robert?
It always
I
is
think it's
good.
just interesting to see the variety that people think that is worthy of putting up in a light box.
Right.
And there's a great, difference between a lot of these. And,
Right.
And I think that it's people just maybe happen to have a piece of art lying around, so I'm gonna put this in.
Right, well, we even got a couple, as you remember, from, public art sculptures. So, there was a big diversity. So I think the general consensus is that we just sort of leave it open-ended with,
Yeah, and it seems to me Florida is a good theme,
Yeah.
And that's what, what's the percentage of people that walk those docks that will look up at that thing are tourists?
right.
People that work there probably aren't gonna look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it's more of an attraction to people from Ohio or Montreal or
Right.
something like that.
I was here last night, and the owner of Dimitri's Restaurant on the Docks was here, and he said that he gets very, very positive feedback from his customers. They just
Good.
absolutely love it.
Right,
So that was rather nice to hear,
yeah.
If we explore, the ability to reuse those, is there a secondary gallery type of use that we could put them through before we return them to or give them back to the artist? In other words, you know, I don't know, in City Hall, or is there another appropriate place that, you know, you could almost do a second
Right,
without the illumination box, but
right,
we get 2 hits
okay.
utilization out of them.
Okay, what I'll have to do is talk to Alan, who was the printer who did the decals, and find out some of the technical things.
Yeah.
But that's a good idea. I think once we find out the technical limitations, we can
I mean,
we
in
can move forward on this.
Cultural center, I mean, there was a lot of vacant walls there that we
Right.
could, you know, pass these through in a
Right.
sequence.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, the decals? I don't understand what the.
Well, the thing is that the boxes have 2 sides, and there are, well, we had to add, I forget what it's like, 1 7/8 bleed all the way around, but the image that shows through the box is 30 by 30. So there are vinyl panels that are 30 by 30. And on the back of those vinyl panels are the decals of the images.
Okay.
So, and they can be peeled off,
They're
so
actually
you're
a
left with a
decal.
clear vinyl panel.
Oh, okay, you say decals, that's the actual image you're
That's
talking
the
about.
image
not-
is a
Okay,
decal.
Right,
I was confused by the word decals. 'cause
Right.
this means something different to me, okay.
okay,
But
Gotcha.
on a white backer, you may be able to reapply that and put it in a 30 by 30 frame.
Right.
And we might be able to get some additional.
right. The other thing too, and, you know, I don't know whether you folks want to go into it today, but we do still have 5 boxes. And, you know, we've been looking for a home for them. So,
I think we have plenty of places that we could put those 5 boxes. Yeah, I don't think we have any problem with that.
yeah. I'll go backwards. Robert, do you have
Well,
any?
you could see my eyes, and I said, I was thinking about saying something. We learned how to read eyes now.
Right.
I still think the corner of Tarpon and Stafford is an important spot. I mean,
I agree.
you know, my studio's right there. I'm on the street there quite often at night, and there's a surprising amount of street traffic going on down there. And maybe not on Monday night, but, but towards the end of the week, there's a lot of traffic, a lot of street
There
traffic.
is.
So I think that's a public space, and there's room there to put up 5 boxes.
Okay. I'll look into whether, you know, unless someone else would like to take it on, you know, to call around and find out, you know, what poles we could use. Because I know part of the bike trail is Pinellas County.
Who would you call?
Pinellas County. You know, I guess they're Public Works Department.
Okay.
None of those light poles are Tarpon Springs?
I think anything on the other side of outside of the actual trail itself, we should be fine on any
Right.
of those poles.
Wherever the city puts up Christmas lights, I imagine belongs to the city.
Right.
So I think those are likely contributors to it. Staying off of the trail, I think, is.
Right.
I'll go down and take some photos for next month.
Okay,
that
Bill,
we
so
can look at.
you'll take
Yeah,
that on?
I'll
Great.
take a look at that.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments or ideas about the art boxes? Lucianne?
I had an idea as I'm reading the minutes. And we have talked about the intersection of Safford and Tarpon Avenue, which I would not support. It's a dangerous intersection and it's a pedestrian crossing. It's kind of crazy, but we've talked about Lemon and we've talked about Orange. And it occurred to me that maybe the block from Safford to Pinellas, going past the library, might be a good place. And it would sort of tie in the sculpture at City Hall and the tarpon fish at the library. And
Right.
go to the trail, and then maybe as we expanded, we could go east of the trail on Lemon. But just,
Right. Oh, Miss Library Director, how would you feel about having some of the art boxes and,
We would be fine with that. That would be very nice.
okay,
I'll expand my look at different locations and try to come back next month.
okay,
with
you're getting a lot of homework here, Bill.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next item, Christopher Still, okay. I got an update from Chris's wife Kelly that he is just about finished. And the thing is that now that it's almost done, they are keeping it under wraps for the grand reveal. So we don't have any updated images of that, and I'm sure you understand why. Kind of a similar situation exists with Elizabeth Indianos and the mural of the Cultural Center. As far as I'm aware, it is finished. And as you're probably aware, under the contract that was executed with the city, her fee was paid in thirds, with the final third to be paid on completion of the project. So she has given Diane an indication that she wants to put a sealant on the mural, you know, especially since there'll be probably a lot of families in there and a lot of the animals and other creatures will be at paw height. So, you know, and this obviously I think would be a good idea too, since we kind of, you know, did away with the stanchions. So, you know, it would be some form of protection for the mural. So the ultimate approval for the payment is from the city manager. But I just wanted to bring you up to speed on it. And I guess, you know, when it's deemed completed, Diane will take a look at it, make a recommendation to the city manager, and final payment will be made. Okay, is everyone?
I had a question.
Sure.
The sealant is included in the mural price, right?
Yes,
Okay, I just wanted, I wasn't clear.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, there's no extra charge for that. Okay, we discussed the Black Heritage project. Lucienne, you're up.
unfortunately, the Riverside project is no more.
Oh, no.
After Bill's suggestion last month that we get a city person to meet with a landowner and explore solutions to some of the doubts that she had expressed, Diane made contact with Officer Boone from the police department, who's part of a new community outreach effort. And he was going to coordinate sort of a city response, but in the process of setting up that meeting, the property owner decided that it really wouldn't work for her own security and public
Your
intrusion
privacy, yeah.
upon
Right.
her. So there is a silver lining, which is that her daughter, Catherine Diamandis Holman, has done a lot of research on the property, particularly on Krill, the jazz band.
Is he a band leader? Is he considered a band leader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a Chicago-based jazz band. He was the first owner of the house and lived there 3 years. He had a contract with the city to do open-air concerts where the Mother Mears parking lot is now.
Right.
But Catherine has done a lot of research on him and on the Beckett family, which owned the property in the 40s. And she has expressed a willingness to work with the public art program on some other kind of project that would incorporate the history of that site. Lynn Whitelaw, of course, is our resident expert on the Innises. So between the two of them, I think Diane is working on ideas for an exhibition, a talk at the very least, but it has tentacles that will live on.
Okay, good,
So,
okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear the first fact, but delighted to hear the second. Like you said, the tentacles will still reach out into the community, and, we'll do something to, honor the Inneses.
the closer we got, the more complicated it became.
Yeah.
So, I think we were right to pursue it.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and I commend you, for your creativity and, looking, into some other venues. But again, this is, I guess, one of the pitfalls of doing things on private property. And so, okay, so you'll continue to follow up, though, on the vestiges of the project?
On Catherine and Lynn,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's in Diane's hands now.
Okay.
She's cooking on it.
okay. Okay, so, okay, moving to new business, I think A, we've already discussed that. B, we received a donation from the Greater Florida Women's Club of Tarpon Springs of $200. I did send the president, Reggie Gibson, a thank you email acknowledging the gift. And then we have a discussion on a timeline to review new unsolicited artist proposals. So in other words, if somebody just, sends something to Diane for consideration, do you think we should establish a timeline or just leave it at her, make it her decision to bring it before the Public Art Committee to see?
Okay, what do you mean a timeline? Do you mean between the time she receives the request from the artist until she presents it?
Right. I don't think we have to formalize it.
I don't think so.
How frequently does this happen? Because if it happens infrequently, then maybe we can just have her bring it up, as needed. If it happens all the time, then maybe a timeline would be in order.
Right.
But how frequently is it an issue?
Yeah, I don't think it,
It's pretty infrequent, Diane mentioned to me.
Yeah,
right, yeah, I think we'll just leave that to
yeah.
Diane's discretion. The next one is adding an addition to the ordinance to the effect that any PAC or municipally funded artwork that's being considered for removal, even if it's on city property and includes painting over or relocated, they have to notify us first.
I have a question about
Sure, Trish.
the ending of that, and it requires our permission. Can we enforce any, if we decide we don't want it done, can we enforce it?
Well, I think we should at the very least be informed that it's being
Well, I
done.
think informed would be good, but I'm not, I would question that last part and get our permission, because I don't think.
It just
permission would
asks for
mean very much.
notification. It doesn't say anything about,
Well, in one thing it was.
a relocation would require permission. In other words, we would have a say in where it's going. In other words, if they decided
Okay.
to move story time, for example,
Okay, then
we would have some input into where it's going.
It's going, okay. Yeah, I was just questioning the wording of the permission.
Right.
Because I think, we really don't have any clout to tell them they can't do
Right.
something.
Yeah, I think we should know if something's going to be,
Well, I definitely.
right,
yeah, I
but,
agree
as I
with
said,
that.
the only thing that occurred to me about, relocation would be the sculptures.
Right.
Robert?
Could we change the word permission to approval?
Sure.
Because
Okay,
approval
that's,
doesn't carry the same weight as
you're
permission.
right, you're right.
I mean-
Yeah, I like
Much
that
better,
yeah.
okay.
I'd like to have the permission to say no.
But we don't, we really don't, yeah.
Right.
I think our approval, and they would take it down with our disapproval,
Right,
if that were to be, so that's I don't know.
There we go.
right. Okay, so we'll change permission to approval.
Yeah.
Lucianne, do you have any thoughts on this?
That sounds
You're
fine.
Fine with it, Bill? Okay. I'll ask Diane to bring this to the city manager then.
Obtain approval from the PAC. Okay.
Right, okay. All right, moving to city announcements.
Joan?
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry,
can we go back to the timeline thing?
sure.
That was my suggestion, and it wasn't a timeline between submission and approval. What my idea was, is that maybe once a year before budget time, we have a period that is advertised for artists.
Like an open
proposals.
call?
Yes,
Okay,
but we would specify priority locations, which are the ones that are in our master plan. But it just seemed to me it would be a fairer process if it were well advertised and well understood.
right. Yeah, anyone have any comments? I think that's a very good idea. Okay, so we'll bring that up to Diane, and she'll bring it to the city manager. I think that's an excellent idea. Okay. Okay, city announcements. Okay, I gather this is a city announcement. On March 4th, we received an email from James Spanolios, I'm sorry. Dear Public Art Committee members, I am writing to you regarding the illuminated art boxes along the sponge docks. While the art boxes themselves are nice, the solar panels and battery boxes are frankly an eyesore. A good deal of time and debate went into selecting the style and type of light poles installed when the sponge docks were last upgraded. The solar panels and battery boxes totally ruined the look of the decorative light poles. Why did you choose to use solar power when the light poles themselves have electricity? Not only are the solar panels and battery boxes an eyesore, but the solar panels are oriented in directions that do not maximize exposure to the sun, so the panels lose power and go dark relatively early in the night. Please consider removing the solar panels and battery boxes and using them on locations where there is no existing electricity, and simply light the art boxes with the electrical supply already in the light poles. Thank you for your service to the community.
Who is this from?
James Spanolios. There should be a copy of the email in your packets.
Oh, thank you. I've seen it.
His address is Athens Street, so that's my assumption.
The copy of the email is not included in everyone's packets. It was just to be read into the record by the chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marissa, thank you.
It can be sent to committee members. Ms. Wood can do that if you would like that.
Okay. I think it has to be acknowledged either by Diane, myself, or both of us, just acknowledging the receipt. But, I think the whole technology of the art box is pegged against using the solar batteries. I can't see just yanking them out and,
No, not on one. No,
Not
on
because one person
person's
dislikes
opinion,
it.
No.
yeah,
And that's the whole purpose of the boxes, the illuminated with the solar panels.
right.
Yeah, it's just one person's opinion.
Yeah, this is the first negative comment we've gotten. So does everybody, Bill?
It's just a suggestion, not a negative comment, right?
Right, it was a suggestion. Okay. I said corrected.
No.
All right, so there will be an acknowledgement of the email sent. Okay, and on a positive note, Diane gave us a copy of the Tampa Bay Magazine up front, and the Storytime sculpture installation was once again acknowledged. So we're getting some very nice recognitions about our projects, which is very gratifying. Okay. Are there any additions to the April 14th meeting? Anyone? Our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, April 14th at 2 o'clock here in the Performing Arts Center. And unless I hear to the contrary, we will adjourn the meeting at 2:42. Thank you.